What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the MindShare PodCast. I'm your host, David Greenspan, and this show is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems, REM Real Estate Magazine, and the ORCF, Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation. Learn more about our sponsors by visiting my website, mindshare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle, as well as learn more about our one-to-one coaching, keynote speaking, and virtual training. Today's episode is number 247. He began his real estate career in 1989 as a salesperson and earned his broker designation in 1993. Over the years, he has owned, managed, and sold, and he currently leads a small but productive family team branded as the Bouma Group. Along the way, he has served as an Oshawa City Councillor from 2010 to 2014 and as a director, and then the 2017 president of the Durham Region Association of Realtors. He was first elected to the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation board in 2020 and currently serves as the 2023 foundation president. She is the current president-elect of the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation and co-chair of the foundation's upcoming motorcycle ride for charity. She's a third-generation realtor, born and raised in Port Dover, and her husband are the owner of Erie's Edge Real Estate located in Norfolk County. She served as president of her local real estate board, the Simcoe and District Real Estate Board, from December of 2011 to December of 2013. She was the inaugural chair of OREA's Young Professionals Network in 2011 and 2012. She also served as the first international representative to the National Association of Realtors Young Professionals Network in 2012, 2013, and 2014. Joining me on this episode of the MindShare podcast are the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation Board President Roger Bouma and President-elect Amy Ferris. Roger, Amy, welcome to the MindShare podcast.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's a pleasure having you both. I'm excited about the conversation. I know, first off, to set the stage for everybody, and if for those of you that know me, and I know if you tuned in, you know me, and you're getting to know me better, but for those of you that do, the minute I saw motorcycle, it was almost like squirrel, and my mind just went elsewhere, and I thought, I've got to dive in deeper, and I just want to set the stage for everybody tuned in right now, whether you're live with us, whether you are listening on your favorite platform. I received an email as a realtor about this motorcycle ride for charity. And the moment that I looked at it, I started to tap in and I thought, this looks like a, great opportunity to, show a ton of support on behalf of our industry for a lot of the communities that are out there across the province of Ontario. On top of that, I saw a motorcycle and went, well, support for, good communities and motorcycles, like I am in. From there, decided, let me reach out a little bit further and find out what this is all about, find out how I could get involved, and more than just get involved, how could I help support? Leaned on my friend Amy, who I've known for some time, introduction to Roger and some of the awesome folks over there, including Shannon and the team. And here we are today, talking about not only the motorcycle ride, but in general, the ORCF, who they are, what they do, what they're all about, and really trying to shed some light for everybody here, especially in Ontario. And for those of you that are not in Ontario, hey, tune in, listen up, because you're going to get some great value out of this episode today. And you're going to be able to take a lot of this stuff away and build this into whatever it is that you're doing at home. Because as we said, right, today's episode is all about how your money can raise millions of dollars and increase your brand awareness. So no matter where you are in the country or the continent, there's going to be something here that you can take away. Anyhow, Roger, can you start off, just share with us who is the ORCF? What is the ORCF? How long has the foundation been around?
Foundation has been around a long time. I think it was started in 1967. So I was young then, and you two probably weren't born.
67. I can't say I was even close, man.
No. It is the giving arm of 97,000 generous realtors across the province who have a commitment to contribute to shelter-based charities. That really is who we are, and And by the way, thank you for the question. One of our challenges has been raising the profile of the foundation, even amongst those of us who are contributing to it. So thank you.
Absolutely. No, it's this was something that I said to you guys as well. Like, can you tell me more? What do you guys do? And just really wanted to understand the details, because this was something for me, especially being licensed for as long as I have been. I really don't know, or didn't know much about what the ORCF did. And then, genuinely, as we had a good, initial conversation around this stuff, thought, wow, there's a lot of opportunity here for a lot of people. And I think that we do need to get the word out to it, because I think that there's definitely strength here. So, Amy, what would you say? And I know Roger just sort of touched on that, but main purpose of the foundation, like what does it serve? Why does it exist?
Well, the foundation has been in existence, like Roger said, for many years, but has taken a different role in the most recent future in terms of adding more fundraising and more events. But I think the key part of the foundation has always been what we call the Every Realtor campaign. So the Every Realtor campaign is a campaign across the province. We currently have 32 of the real estate boards in the province that are participating, with about 97,000 of the nearly 99,000 realtors in the province. So we're just probably about 15 or 1,700 shy of every realtor being part of this campaign. And basically what it is that these realtors donate, be it $1, $2, some up to $5 per member per month, through their local real estate board to the foundation. And in the end, the foundation gives that money back to those local associations as a grant for them to give away to charities within their community that fit within our shelter-based categories that are out there. So last year, I think we granted a total of $1.9 million through the Every Realtor campaign.
Wow. It's a good amount of money right there.
And I think even David, when you and I chatted originally, you're like, wait, do I give money to this?
That's what I was about to say to you. Like, I'm like, wait a second, are we all putting in money to this?
So our calculation is about 97,000 of the 98,400 some odd realtors in the province. So it's almost the entire province. Every realtor that is in organized real estate is contributing in some way through the Every Realtor campaign. And each board is different. Like I said, some boards are $1 per member per month. Some boards give $2 per member a month, and we do have one that gives $5 per member per month. And again, that money goes right back to your community in the end, but it is what helps grow the foundation and show how generous realtors are across the province.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. I had the opportunity to speak with one of our larger boards, one of our boards that contributes a fair bit to the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation, at their winter Christmas gathering last November. And I asked for a show of hands, how many people contribute to the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation? There's 500 or 600 people in the room. 10% of the hands went up. And then I had to tell them, no, you all contribute to the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation. Let me tell you a little about it. So that's part of our challenge, Amy, is helping our realtor members become aware of the amazing work that they are collectively doing for shelter-based charities.
Absolutely. And I think part of being a realtor is that every month or every week or every year you pay your dues, and you don't always know where that money's going. So I hope that this is an education piece for people to realize how much money they're actually giving back to their community. $1.9 million is not a small amount of money. I'm sure there's more donations that are happening out there that aren't funneled through the foundation. But in total, it does show how generous realtors are.
So, but let's talk about that for a second. Why is it that there's a lot of folks that don't even know that they're contributing? Where are we missing there, and what can we do collectively to increase the awareness of that?
This is part of it. I mean, we have to tell our message for every opportunity that we have. We hired an executive director in 2022, Shannon, and she's done a great job of making sure that we are present at board functions, golf tournaments, trade shows across the province, so that we can have many more of these conversations. In terms of why some boards aren't showing that $1 or $2 or $5 per month on a monthly invoice, the board that I spoke to does. It's on their invoice every month. And realtors don't always look at their invoices, they just pay them.
Okay, so thought that just hit me. Would it be strategic for us to be able to go to each of those boards and say, "Hey, can you add this on as a line item so people recognize that they're paying into it?"
I'm not sure if we want to. We've got a terrific relationships with these 32 boards and associations. I don't know that we want to tell them how to do their business,
No,
but
I'm with you there. I guess where I'm going is from the marketing perspective of it, of like,
sure.
how do we get that word? Because again, and for everybody, understand this is a great initiative. And if guys, we talk about the fact that you're taking $12 from me a month that I don't know about, or pardon me, a year that I don't know about to put towards a good cause. The reality is, I'm not going to be frustrated or upset about that.
No.
Right. Like that's a good
Yeah.
thing. I guess from a brand awareness perspective, I think there's opportunity there to get that out. And maybe that's the front line to be able to get people to understand, hey, there's something here.
And I think Roger makes a good point that we don't want to tell them, how to send their bills out. But I do agree that we as realtors that are part of this, that know about this, are the ones that need to be sharing the message as well. Like Roger said, Shannon is out there. She's on the street. She's meeting the executive officers of the real estate boards. She's attending events. We're expanding that side of our marketing. We've also just hired a marketing coordinator, I guess is her full title, but she will be taking care of a lot of our social media, which will help get the message out there as well as we start to grow and bring on new initiatives and new fundraisers to try and raise some funds for the foundation and charities across Ontario. So I do think that we definitely have a plan. We have a very bold vision for the future. And I think that together as realtors, those who are aware, people like you, David, who can help us spread the message and let people know what we are and how they're being part of this and making it so successful. So I think we're on the right track. The more we talk about it, the better.
Yeah, well, and this is like part of the initiative today is to be able to get that word out there and talk about it more. So if we say, okay, one, people maybe are not fully aware of the ORCF. Two, they don't realize that necessarily they're contributing to it. Is there anything else that we feel just as a foundation that maybe we need to clarify for people? And we'll get to the initiatives and all that stuff and what the plan is in a moment. But just in general, like if I look at the two big things there, I'd say one, who, and two, didn't realize I was part of it or that I was contributing to it. Is there anything else that you guys feel, again, that you've spoken about that like people just don't know? Finish that sentence.
I'm going to say that one of the things people don't know is that we are distinct from the Ontario Real Estate Association. There's a common misperception that we are the giving arm of the Ontario Real Estate Association. We are not. We're a separate legal charitable entity in the province of Ontario. We happen to have a wonderful relationship with OREA. They have been generous with us. They are our landlord. They provide our office space. They do provide some staff support. We're busy building our own staff right now, which will change that over time. They contribute $200,000 a year towards our administration costs, and I think we have that commitment until 2026. And a couple of years ago, they gave us $5 million, which was amazing and generous. The biggest chunk of that went into our endowment fund, and $1 million of that has been set aside to help us fund some of the initiatives that have come out of our new strat plan over the next 5 years. So wonderful relationship with OREA. We wouldn't change that for a second, but we are not the giving arm of the Ontario Real Estate Association. We are, as Amy said earlier, the giving arm of 97,000 generous realtors across this province.
Great clarification there, because I was going to ask one if the ORCF is part of OREA, and obviously we've just understood that it is not. Although there is camaraderie there, and there's definitely a strong relationship there. It is not one and the same. And I was also going to dive into, in terms of funding, like how is the foundation funded?
That's probably a good question for Amy, because she's it's the Every Realtor Care campaign is a big part of that, Amy.
Yeah, and I think you have to look at how are we funded in two different ways. Obviously, we will have overhead, expenses that are related to the foundation, and our job as a board of directors is to keep that at the lowest possible number that we can in order to be able to donate more money back to organizations across the province. And that's why we have had such a good working relationship with OREA. We have an office space, we have assistance with, HR and legal that we just don't have the funds for right now. So at this time right now, they do help assist with that, like Roger mentioned, the $200,000. But they have given us, some leeway with the 5 million to try and grow ourselves into our own organization, separate from all of that completely. But in terms of funding, some of it does come from there. And then all the money that's donated is basically coming from realtors across the province through the Every Realtor campaign into our pockets and back to theirs. So that's where all the charitable funding comes from. We do have a few fundraisers, obviously the Motorcycle Ride for Charity, and the Jam with the Past President, which is held at different conferences and events across the province a couple times a year typically, or at least once a year, depending on where the conference is. So we do some other fundraising, but the majority is the Every Realtor campaign, and then obviously some of our expenses are covered by the generosity of OREA.
For the past number of years, I've heard about the Jam with the past president sort of event. I didn't realize that the ORCF was part of that. Now, let me just state clearly, I was not at any of those events, so it's possibly, I didn't see the signage, I didn't get whatever, but didn't realize that. And I think that that's another event that probably across the board, a lot of folks have maybe heard of. Same way I've heard of the Motorcycle Ride for Charity. Again, didn't necessarily realize who was, orchestrating the whole thing or what was going on there. As we talk about charity and we talk about giving back and we talk about the communities that we live in, something that I see is that as an industry, we've got to continue collectively to raise the profile of what we do and who we are and how we help our communities. And I think that as we all decide to somehow get involved in giving back to a community, and this is not give to receive. And even though we've heard the lines, give and you shall receive. In my mind, this is just give to give. And when you give enough and you continue to give, yes, at some point you probably will receive, but you got to do it genuinely. It's got to come from the heart. And I believe that, again, this initiative right here, this foundation is very helpful in raising the status of our industry, raising the brand awareness around who we are and what we do as realtors. And I strongly believe people should be getting involved in some sort of charitable, organization, something to give back. And this is a great avenue to do so. Now, the funny thing is too, that years ago, I'd done a poll, asking people, what do they love doing to get business? And what do they hate doing to get business? And naturally, like a hate was like, I hate door knocking. I hate cold calling. Yeah. You didn't even have to tell me that. I would have known that, right? What do you love doing? People love talking to other people and meeting other people. And as well with the hate was, hate doing to get business was like hosting free seminars, doing free things to bring people in. Yet again, they love getting together with people. It's like, well, if you do the things you're supposed to do, getting together with people, get involved in charitable organizations, raising the level of brand awareness and sort of what we've got as an industry, you're going to win at some point. And this is why, again, I think this is such an important conversation today to be able to explain to people and share with them what this foundation is all about and how they can get involved. When we talk about initiatives, we just talked about the Jam with the Past President, we talked about the motorcycle ride. What kinds of initiatives could we even suggest that we've been involved in over the past couple of years? And maybe stuff that's even a little bit more micro than some of the things that we might have all heard about, but just to give people who are tuned in a sense of, if I get creative, I can do that too.
Well, I think there's a few things that we can talk about. I know realtors are extremely generous, and I know that most of us give back to our community in some way, whether it's donating funds, hosting events, and whatnot. I think one of the biggest things when you talk about brand awareness, David, is building the brand of the REALTORS Care Foundation by involving realtors in some way, some form. There's nothing there. I shouldn't say there's nothing wrong, but there is a way for realtors to host an event and partner with the foundation. The more times that we have a partner within the foundation, that $1.9 million in grants is going to continue to grow. That's just what we did with the Every Realtor campaign. That doesn't include all of the fundraisers that realtors across the province did on their own. So if they were to partner,
okay.
So if they were to partner with the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation and use what we call an express grant. So I decide I'm going to host an event for the local food bank, and I want to, I want to build awareness. I call on the REALTORS Care Foundation. They partner with me because that fits within the shelter-based criteria. They help me promote through social media. And then in the end, the funds that I raise will go to the foundation, and then it will be express granted back to me. So if I gave them $5,000, they're going to give $5,000 to the local food bank that I raised the funds for. Now that $1.9 million has just become $5,000 more. So that it'll continue to raise that number higher and higher every time. But if we don't use the foundation to funnel these funds through, or to share the information, or to partner with, we're missing out on a large number of things that are happening across the province that would just make that number even bigger. Like, it's got to be minimum $5 million across the province that realtors are donating annually. If not, it's way more.
So clarify that one for me again. And sorry, just because again, that's a question that, again, as I was kind of leading up to today, I posed those questions. Did you know? To people, did you know? Did this? Did that? What don't you know? Just to try to dig. And then there was some questions that came up and said, so why do I need to involve the ORCF if I'm going to do something charitable?
So that,
go for it, Raj.
Yeah, so that together we can track the collective generosity of realtors in the province. I think generosity encourages generosity, so that's part of it. Just recognizing, Amy's already said this, but just recognizing that realtors are generous. They're out in the community, they are contributing. Working with the foundation to help us capture that collective generosity across the province helps us tell our story, and it encourages more generosity.
Okay.
And it's not that they have to partner with the foundation. It's that we would encourage it, just again, so that the big thermometer that you see at every fundraiser, we need that thermometer to keep going, because the funds that we're giving back are already from the realtors. But let's hear about what other people are doing. Let's partner with them. Let's help them get social media presence for their event that they're hosting, and so forth. And I know together as realtors, if many of them knew of this option, I think they would take advantage of it in order to be able to build their brand as well. So.
Okay, so if I broke that back down and I repeat that back, and please, if I misunderstood, clarify, let's do that now. I decide I'm going to host a fundraiser, ABC, and I want to generate X amount of dollars. I execute, I invite people, they take part, I raise my funds, I get the word out basically in my micro area, because what I'm doing is I'm really inviting maybe the people that are on my list, and I'm going out to maybe the community that I'm involved in. And that's who's aware of the fact that I did this.
Correct.
At the end of it, we raised money, people showed up, it was a success, we win. We can still take that money and we can do something with it. We don't need to involve the ORCF. However, the reason I would want to is that now I can actually get support in getting the word out there about my event to a much larger audience, which would then in turn provide an opportunity to raise a lot more funds, and then naturally be able to give back a lot more funds. Well, not only in that, but my fundraising then goes towards this bigger picture that says, not only have I done this within my community, and thank you for the support, by the way, but look at how much we've done as an industry. Look at this. We just continue to pump this thing. Like, look at me, look at us. We are doing great stuff. And again, just based on what it is, me with my love for marketing and building MindShare, top of mind, intuitive, instinctive reaction to a product or service. When we think about fundraising, we start to think ORCF, we start to think about, let me involve them because they're going to help me get it out there wider. And then when, again, people think about us as an industry, they're looking going, look at how great these guys are. Look what they do. And I'm not saying, look how great the ORCF is. I'm saying, look how great realtors are, which, if I'm not mistaken, is part of one of the big things we're trying to do here, even with the foundation. Have I got that right?
Absolutely. I think you nailed it. I mean, there may be somebody in London or Ottawa or Hamilton that says, look what David did. Why can't we do that here?
And that's exactly it. So can you share with us, give us, Do people do cookie fundraisers and like what are some of the more micro things that we're seeing people do just to give people an idea?
Somebody in Brampton, I think Amy did line dancing a couple of months ago.
Yeah, so there's another one that's being planned right now as well, and I'm not sure what it is either, but it's anything as micro as you said, a bake sale, like anything that makes money. But I look at realtors in my community, and I'm seeing them out there donating their time to events, and in turn getting a charitable donation to something in their name. So this is another thing that you can do. I Golf tournaments are big, and it's not always just real estate boards that are doing these golf tournaments. I've seen realtors themselves doing it to raise money for a charity close to them. There are so many things out there that people can do. And I think the key is trying to build that number and just keep doing it so that people across the province, when they see $1.9 million, that's exciting. But when you're 99, almost 99,000 realtors, yeah, it could be a lot better. And I know it's better. We just don't have the information to prove that it's better. And this is a way to try and channel it all through the same and say, this is what realtors in Ontario have done, and I was part of this.
Yeah, picking up on Amy's golf tournaments, we should mention that a number of our boards do large events that are also express grants. So in addition to their $1 or $2 or $3 or $5 per month, they do annual golf tournaments and raise a bunch of money that does flow through the foundation back into the community. One of the boards, at least one of the boards, probably more, do a charity auction with their annual November, December gathering, their party. I attended an event a year or two ago in which someone donated a cake that sold for $100, donated it back, it sold for $200. And I think that cake raised $5,000 or $6,000 by the time someone finally took it home to eat.
Did everybody take a bite while they were doing that? No.
What's that?
I was wondering if everybody took a bite along the way as they kind of.
It kept going back whole. Nobody actually wanted the cake. They wanted the fun that came with it.
So that's, you see it, and that's great what we just highlighted here, because this is again one of those that by understanding how micro we can go, I think that opens up a world of opportunities for everybody that's tuned in right now and every single realtor in this province to go, absolutely, wow, I can actually do something and I'm not going to be by myself. See, we know that this is a very individual business for the most part. And yes, there's teams and there's little teams and big teams, but at the end of the day, you're doing your stuff on your own. And as you do that, you come up with, what can I do for marketing? And I'm having a lot of conversations with a lot of my coaching clients right now that are trying to revamp things because, well, they want to have a good fall market. And in my mind, first off, the revamping was supposed to happen 2-3 months ago. Much the same, though, with the plans that at least we've put in place with our clients. It's not about a revamp. It's about completely understanding that there is a, summertime lulls and the market has shifted and there's different, outside factors that are impacting what kind of, fall market anybody's going to have right now. At the end of the day, though, everybody's looking for, what are the options? What are some ideas that I can implement? And so I come full circle to this and say, well, let's say you thought about doing something for your community. And then you sit there and go, but I don't have the people power to help me do it. Or I don't know how I'd get the word out. Am I correct in saying that if I thought about an idea and I started to basically orchestrate the whole thing, I reach out to the ORCF and basically say, hey, what can I now, how can you guys help me?
Yeah, and the foundation's not going to be able to help you staff your local event. We wouldn't be able to spread ourselves across the province to do that, but we can certainly help you with branding. We can help you get the message out. And an event is not successful if people don't know what's happening.
And this is the thing, right? So it's not necessarily about having people out there, but it's about having the support maybe to get the word out, and maybe even having some people that I can talk to and say, hey guys, I'm thinking about doing this for the first time. Can you help me just come up with ideas to do that?
Or connect you with someone who's done it in another community.
And the more people that we know that are doing these events, the larger our database of realtors will continue to grow, and we can say, hey, David, you know what? Roger held an event very similar. You should give him a shout. He'd have some great information for you, or we can connect you via email if possible, or whatever the case may be. But unless we know that these things are happening, we can't build that knowledge base just amongst those that are sitting at the board table. One of the things that I think we haven't touched on, and maybe David, I just want to flip it to Roger, is having talked about this and why should I want to be involved in the foundation. One of the things that I think we should mention, Roger, is that we've taken over the Real Heart campaign, and those people that are doing these events and being part of the foundation may have an opportunity to be a Real Heart recipient. Is that the word?
So Real Heart was a program operated by OREA, and it was highlighting folks that were being generous in their community. And OREA, a couple of years ago, decided that it really wasn't their primary business, and it was a better fit for the foundation. So we're just starting to take that over now, and it's going to be an opportunity for the foundation to highlight folks that are helping fund shelter-based charities in their local community, and it's we're quite excited about it. I don't know, Amy, how many spots we're going to do a year, but that's just we're just bringing that back up, and it's going to be a neat opportunity to show how realtors are helping shelter-based charities in this province.
Yeah, and to tie to that, the number one fundraiser for this year's motorcycle rally or event, whatever you want to call it. Yep.
Sorry. Squirrel.
Squirrel.
We'll be receiving a Real Heart. We call it a spotlight. A Real Heart spotlight. So whoever raises the most amount of money will be given that spotlight, and that'll be our first Real Heart, which we're really excited about doing. And I think it's important to note that, again, these Real Heart, what did we just call it? A Real Heart what? Spotlight. I can never think of the right word. These Real Heart spotlights will be given out to those people that are doing major fundraisers and donating money back to charities within their organizations. But I think it's got to be tied to the Realtors Care Foundation. We would know that you're doing it if it's not tied to it. So in some way, some form, again, helping you with some social media or using the express grant process where you can raise the funds and then funnel it back through the foundation out to your organization of choice. That's an express grant, and it registers automatically when the money comes in and goes out as a grant.
So we've got Lori, who just mentioned about two separate people, one that collects clothes, specifically men's underwear, for the local shelter in her area. And there's another that is raising money, donations for seniors in our community. Would both of those fall within something that we could have the ORCF involved in?
Yes, anything shelter-based, and shelter is not just housing. So a shelter may be servicing or helping folks that are underfed. It may be hospice care. It can be a shelter of any sort. It can be organizations that work with disabled, organizations that work with the elderly, organizations that work with aspects of healthcare. So it's a fairly broad definition of shelter, and both of those would be perfect examples.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. And Amy, sorry, what did we say? How much did we raise last year in 2022?
Granted out last year was 1.9 million.
Wow. And then we said, though, we could have had more if people were notifying us. That number could have just gone higher.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Our strat plan, our strat plan has us set to has us aiming for $5 million by 2027. $5 million per annum by 2027, and we're going to get there.
That's right.
Okay, so now if I come back to this, and again, I might be repeating some of these questions in a way that we're going, well, we just kind of shared that, but what I want to do is I want to take it down to like real clarity for everybody, so they just fully understand how simple this is to very much get involved. If I said to you, how does a realtor get involved? So I've decided I'm going to do my fundraiser, and I guess on my end, I've got to start picking my date, and I've got to start thinking about how I'm going to get the word out. At what point in the process should I connect with the foundation to say, hey, here's where I'm at, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I would like to do. Can you support me? How can you help me? Can I be part of it? How do I tie the ORCF into it? Like if I just simplified that whole question and said, so I'm a realtor, how do I get involved? What would you say, just from a simplistic perspective? What are my steps?
I would say get in contact with the foundation as early as you can. One,
Okay.
to make sure that it's a fit, that what you're raising funds for falls within our definition of shelter-based charities.
So if I want to get a new motorcycle, that doesn't count.
No,
Okay.
new
Sorry.
motorcycle. It's tough. You know, we sometimes good folks in our boards and associations across the province have some great causes that they're quite passionate about, and we have to say that's a wonderful cause. It is really doesn't fall under the shelter-based definition. So make sure it's a fit, and then find out through the foundation if they know of anyone else that's done it elsewhere. But I also want to say, another way to get involved, David, is just with your local board. So if the local board is doing a charity auction or a golf tournament, I will guarantee you they are looking for volunteers. So that's a big part of it.
Very interesting. We're getting some just amazing, comments online from folks who are obviously passionate about what the ORCF does. And it's great. I mean, obviously there's a lot of recognition out there already. That being said, for as strong as what we're doing as a foundation is, this is something that we want to get even more people involved, because again, look, everybody tuned in. Like, this is a great opportunity for you to just really give back to your community. And I'm going to go right down that road right now, that when we're talking about getting out there and growing our business and what else I can do to get more opportunities, we know that it comes down to one thing: connect with people.
Absolutely.
And if you're connecting with people and you're doing the right things, people will see that you are a good person. They will see that you are involved in the right things. And naturally, over time, they will begin to look at you as somebody that they do want to continue talking to, that they look at as a good person, that they will trust. And if you want to get that listing, trust is a major factor towards that. Well, again, there's a lot of ways you can show off what you do and why you're trustworthy, but I would say when it comes to, giving back and really being involved in the community, I mean, what better way can you show people who you don't even know that you're somebody who supports, that you're somebody that they can come to? It's a great way to connect with people. And I just think everybody really, really needs to take a moment to think about the power that the foundation has and what it's generating in Ontario for realtors, and again, the industry as a whole, and leverage this, right? Use it to our advantage.
David, I have to say, did you see Richard's comment there about the fellowships?
Yeah,
I did. I just threw that up there.
Did you also see his profile picture?
I did. Now I notice it's not a Harley, but Rich, we're not going to knock you for that.
Richard is he's a past member of the foundation, as well as a board member, and he is on our ride committee. So thank you, Richard, for listening in. But he does make a good point, and it's something we haven't mentioned yet, is the fellowship. So the foundation offers what's called a fellowship to the foundation. I think the cost is $1,000, and basically you could give that. A board might say, hey, Roger, you're past president of Durham. As a thank you, we're going to make a donation to the REALTORS Care Foundation for $1,000. He's looking for his fellowship. Here it comes. There's his fellowship award. And so on his behalf, they donated $1,000 to the foundation, and Roger becomes a fellow. We actually had a past president of our local real estate board pass away last year, my first broker of record. He was a member on our board of directors for almost 25 years. He was very active, and upon his passing, the board decided to make a donation to the foundation in his honor, and he was awarded a fellowship in his memory. So there's lots of ways to make donations to the foundations outside of just hosting a fundraiser and being part of the Every Realtor campaign, but the fellowship is a great way for real estate boards or brokers of record, if they want to recognize somebody in their office who has done outstanding work in the community, get them a fellowship.
Like that.
A whole bunch of ways people can help fund the work of the foundation, and that's a great one. I love that Richard brought that up, and I love seeing his name, because Amy and I both know how passionate he is for the foundation. He served on our finance committee, and I don't know if he's ever missed a ride.
Well, very cool.
He has not, and that's why he's still on the committee. He's a retired realtor, no longer working in the industry, but he's still passionate. That's right. Never.
I'll tell you this: if he's never missed a ride and it has rained at any point, he kept riding. Then you know what? I'll take my Harley comment back and say, no, Richard, I appreciate the invite, my man, and I am looking forward to meting you on that ride. Absolutely.
He's a very good sweep, so he'll be closing out the ride.
Cool. Very number 16, he says this year. Wow. Very cool. So as we talk about again the steps to working awards, safe to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, can I go to the website and find all this stuff and see like how this works?
You can. We're in the process of redoing our website, so take a look now, but take a look again in a few months when we get our new and improved website up and running. And I hope I haven't overcommitted Shannon in terms of a date on that, but it is something we're working on. Again, keep in mind that the foundation was staffed with just one person for a long time. We now have an executive director and 2 additional staff people, and a whole bunch of things are going to change over the next little while and improve, including our website.
And and thank you. So again, everybody, make sure we check out the website, realtorscareontario.ca, which was actually just put up there. Love that. We're gonna throw that up there right now, so everybody knows it's there.
Thank you.
So again, there it is. Check that out for those of you that are tuned in live right now. realtorscareontario.ca. Again, visit the website, learn more about what they're doing, understand just what they're up to, and then just keep tuning back into it. Really, I mean, take that logo and again, I don't listen to my instructions on it, listen to theirs. But again, the idea there is imagine leveraging that and be able to just show off more about what you do. I know there's a lot of designations out there that people have been, going after for a number of years to put on the business cards and signs. I'm not saying don't do them. All I'm saying is that the general public has no clue what they mean. Whereas something like this is very, very, easy to understand. There is just no confusion around it. I give back. I help. I am a good person. I mean, like what more do you want when you're trying to meet people, right?
And that's a great point, David. If you partner with the foundation or bring us into this while you're doing a fundraising event, sure. Maybe the logo will be on your banners and flyers and it says Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation. People will understand that this is about Ontario Realtors giving back to the community.
Right. Now, again, and let's just do this one more time when we say about giving back, right? I just want to make sure that everybody's got this really clear. How are the funds distributed? So I've done something, I've gotten involved, I've gotten, some support from you guys. I'm supporting the foundation is supporting me for this endeavor. Funds have been raised. What do? I sign that over to the ORCF. Like, how does that work? And how do we distribute after the fact?
You're going to let that flow through the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation. They are going to write a check to the charity that you have designated, and that's typically going to be sent back to you to present to the charity. Sometimes you're going to do that with the great big check that I've never seen anyone actually bring into the bank, but you're going to get the opportunity to be the person that hands that over to your local charity.
And it will be 100% of the funds you raise. So if you raise $5,000, you send the foundation $5,000. They write a check back for $5,000 to Habitat for Humanity, for example, whoever you may be partnering with.
Amazing clarification right there. Yeah, that's important, right? Like all the money that you're raising, you're getting it all back.
Yep.
All we're doing is working to do this collectively as opposed to individually.
Right?
And
it's the power of what people power, or what do you call it? Power of more.
Power of generosity.
Well, I like that.
Like Roger said, and the more generous we are, the more generous the next person is. It just seems to be contagious.
Great opportunity to say that as well, as Lori just shared with us that, listen, you don't have to put on anything. You can just literally go to the site and spend some money as well. So there's always options there.
And Lori is one of our board members. She's on our board of directors. Lovely. From the Toronto Real Estate.
Know her well. She is awesome. So here, you guys mentioned this earlier. You talked about some initiatives coming up, some of the plans. I think we kind of lightly breezed over that. Was there anything we wanted to add on to that? Just types of strategies, plans, anything that we want to share about, sort of what's going on moving forward?
I think I want Amy to pitch the motorcycle ride one more time.
I was getting to that one. You better believe
you'll get to that one. We need a bunch more riders. And when we were talking about jam with the past president, I was going to ask David what instrument he plays, but
oh man, I play the microphone. But
that's it.
Maybe we should tell everybody what the jam actually is, just to round it out, because it does have some history. So the jam was created by a past president of OREA, Brian Walker, and his band, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Shaky and the Blue Notes. And I think I'm right. Fingers crossed, Brian, I got that one right. But anyways, he created this Jam of the Past President that was held in conjunction with either the Ontario Real Estate Association annual general meeting or other events held by OREA. So this year it'll be held in November at our, it's not called PAC Days anymore. They're going to shoot me for this one, but it's the Government Relations Conference. Let's put it that way. It has a different name happening in November, and we'll be doing an event there as well. So you can pay to play with the band. So John D. Michel, Treb's CEO, he plays every year. Fantastic. Mark McLean is a good example of someone who pays every year to play. And so they make a donation. I can't remember the cost exactly to play. Everyone pays to get in. You pay to play with the band if you wish. And then we have a 50-50 and all kinds of stuff. And we try and raise some money. We have a few sponsors that take some sponsorship for the event. So we're looking forward to that in November. I don't have all of the final details yet. They're in the works. I know the location is going to be off-site, but I don't remember the name of the location. So we'll have all of that information shared on the social media as that after the ride's over when we start focusing on the jam.
It's a really, really fun event, and it brings out. I mean, we get Phil Sofer from Royal LePage comes out to play. He's good. It's a collection of everyone in organized real estate, and it's just a really, really fun event.
Yeah,
and it raises money.
I've heard nothing but great things about that particular event. And I've heard that John and Phil and Mark, they can all jam. So it's supposedly a fun one, and people actually go back. So they're, they got to be playing some good tunes out there. And
it's not karaoke. I promise you, it's not karaoke. It's much better than that.
I'll give you the good segue here is that Phil and I done a lot of work with Royal LePage in the past, and there was at one point we were basically doing a whole country tour together, where we were at all these different provinces doing these different presentations, and we'd all travel on the plane and do our thing, but everybody was kind of separate. And then it got to a point where every time we got to the airport, Phil would be like, okay, let's go. And he'd rent a car. He'd already have his car sort of like rented out, and I'd jump in the car with him. I'd be sitting shotgun. He'd throw me the iPad, and it was just Phil and I, and we would literally, I'd be going through his playlist, and we'd be jamming out to rock music, and we'd be talking about Harleys. I've had the good fortune to be able to ride Route 66 with Mr. Soper. Wow. He is an incredible motorcycle rider. We had an absolute blast. There's a story that I just don't have enough time to share here, but he's nuts. We had a lot of fun out there, and I had to say to him after the fact, I'm like, what just happened? And he looked at me and goes, David, it was bad. I'm just glad you're still here, man. We give a big high five and a hug, but let's leverage that as a segue right now to talk about the motorcycle ride, because all jokes aside, and everybody knows my passion for motorcycles, that's my zen, that is my yoga. And a lot of people would look and go, your bike is massive and it's ridiculously loud, how in the world is that zen and yoga? And the reality is that is my happy place, outside of obviously being with my children, and some of the sports that we're involved in. But it's me, it's just me. Sometimes it can be a really scary place because it's like just you and your mind. We've done some amazing rides across the country multiple times. And I'll tell you that as you're coming around bends and you're on the road for 9-10 hours a day, pumping out 1,000 kilometers a day, you can go from these really highs to these really lows. You can be completely angry, and all of a sudden you're laughing about something. And the craziest part is you're doing it all by yourself in your own head. And I find it just a great place to think. I find that, again, my zen spot. So I'm excited that this is happening, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Much the same. What can we share with people about the ride and really encourage people to get involved? And do you have to be a rider? Can you maybe jump on as a passenger, or maybe not be on two wheels whatsoever? Can people drive? Maybe they're not driving. Maybe they can show up at the stops. Tell us more. How can everybody get involved?
Sure, absolutely. I'd be happy to chat about the motorcycle ride. This is my second year chairing the event, and I actually rode in it, I don't know, 2012.
Do you ride?
No. I just, I'm heavily involved in Friday the 13th in Port Dover. So when I came on the board, Pauline thought that because I organize a biker event, I'd be really good at organizing a motorcycle rally. Well, it's a little different. Let me tell you that. I have a really strong team of riders that are on the committee, and they are just amazing. And they are doing the majority of the legwork, and I'm very thankful for all of them. Richard, of course, being one of them with his 16 years of experience, because this is our 16th annual Realtors Care Ride. Obviously, we missed a couple of years during the, times.
Yeah, I got you.
So this year it's a 2-day event this year. So this has been done in the past, but last year was just 1 day. We're going to be leaving from Whitby and ending in London on the first day, with stops in Brampton, Guelph, and Brantford along the way. In Guelph, we're going to be stopping at the Sleeman's Brewery, where we'll be able to have a brewery tour if we'd like, as well as lunch. And then London is going to be our end for the night. Then the next day, we will leave from London and finish in Windsor. So we'll be going to Sarnia, which will be meeting at the foot of the Blue Water Bridge, which is absolutely beautiful. If nobody's ever been there before, it's gorgeous. And then we're heading off to Chatham, which I believe is another brewery hosting us for lunch. And then we'll finish in Windsor in the afternoon, where we'll have dinner, and people are welcome to stay or not. You can ride for 1 day. You can ride for 2 days. You can ride for half of a day. You can go to 3 stops. If you're not a rider, you can, I know there's some people in the past have had their spouse ride with them. There is a registration fee for the spouse to ride on the back of your bike, or a friend or whoever. If you are a realtor in any of the areas that we're stopping in, or close to any of the areas we're stopping in, we encourage you to come and see us on the stops. We'll be posting a full route once it's ready. It's going to be September 27th and 28th. And once the route is completely finalized with stop times, we'll share that out so people know when we're going to be in your area. Look for us. Honk your horn if you see us. But also make a donation. If you can't be there, go and pledge a rider. The riders are requested to raise a minimum of $200 by September 22nd in order to participate. So hopefully everyone will make that work. And the registration fee is $100. It will include 2 breakfasts, 2 lunch, and 1 dinner if you ride the full 2 days. So for $100, it's a pretty good deal. And obviously we're taking on sponsors. So if there's anybody listening that wants to be a sponsor for the event, like David is, which is great. We're glad to have him on board. We're happy. We'd be happy to have you there. I see Shannon has put the website on the chat there, obviously, or in the live at realtorscareontario.ca/ride. And everything will be there. As things get finalized, they'll be updated. Our goal this year is 50,000. Last year, I think we were just shy of 40,000. We had 60 riders last year, the highest we've ever had, and we raised the most amount of money. So we'd like to see that be even more this year.
That is super exciting. Super exciting. So you don't have to be a rider. You could be a passenger, but you don't have to actually be either.
Nope.
You can show up and just hang out and be there to support the crew that's riding at everyone, one of the stops.
Absolutely.
Come partake in some of the fun that's going on. And again, we've got the website here. And again, for everybody that's tuned in on audio right now, it's Realtors with an S, realtorscareontario.ca/ride. Okay. So once again, that's realtorscareontario.ca/ride. Hey, the reality is we've got people tuning in from all over the place. And so you do not need to be in Ontario to donate. Is that correct, everybody?
You don't have to be in Ontario to ride. If you want to come from,
we'll take their money.
Love that.
You want to come from somewhere else and join the ride, you're more than welcome to register as a ride. You do not have to be a realtor to ride in the ride.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, so if you own a motorcycle, you can't hide on us. Get involved. Go over to, again, the website, realtorscareontario.ca/ride. Get registered, pledge a donation, sponsor one of the riders, somehow figure out how to get involved. And again, would it be safe to say, guys, that anybody right now could take the idea of this ride and just share it across the social media platforms to just put the word out? Like I'm a realtor. I don't ride. I'm like, wow, this is great though. And this is going to raise the level of our industry. What can I do to support? How do I get maybe a graphic or something? Do I just go to the website maybe and share it to my social media? I just want to encourage people to just grab this thing and go, look, even we want you to donate. Much the same as well, even if you can help get the word out, I think that's a big thing.
And you can do that through, you're right, the website or our social media channels. We have
Perfect.
tons of information there that you can share. Roger, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. Go to our Facebook page or Instagram page. Go to Ontario's, Realtors Care Ontario, and it'll be there for you to share. And we'd love you to do it. And by the way, like the page while you're there.
Yeah. Good job. Please follow us on Instagram as well. So okay, let's see. We know how people can get involved in the ride. We know how people can support the ride even if they're not physically present, and that's either and or through a monetary donation and or just getting the word out through some social media shares. So we ask everybody, please take part in that, help get the word out there. We also know how to get involved, whether it's with the motorcycle ride, the Jam with the Past President, or anything that we might come up with our own initiative in order to support the foundation, and really, again, raise the level of the industry and show, the communities what we're doing to give back to communities and how much we really help. And we've talked about that. We've gone through a lot. Is there anything we haven't covered today that we feel is just either we missed or is just a big need to know?
Boy, we've covered a lot of what the foundation does, and with your help, I think, help to raise the awareness of what the foundation does. So, I mean, that is Amy and I talk about this often. Our board talks about this often. Our primary mandate right now is to raise brand within the realtors themselves. And thank you for helping us do that.
Well, thank you both for all the work that you're putting in behind the scenes there to make this thing come to life. I think it's phenomenal. And anytime anybody's got a full-time, role that they play doing whatever it is that they do, to take on something else and add that on the plate, it's got to come with a sense of due care, love, passion for it. And so thank you both very much for putting in the time and the effort. And of course, the entire crew over there, all of the staff involved, Shannon as well, who I had the fortune to meet the other day. The work is phenomenal. And I told you guys the minute I caught wind of it, not just because of motorcycle, naturally, yes, jokes aside, no, jokes aside, that's what kind of perked my ears up.
Yeah.
But I went to the website and went, wait a second, what is this? And I wanted to learn more. And that's what, led us here today. So I thank you both very, very much for spending the time with me and being able to help get the word out on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, before we go,
okay,
I want to shift gears for a second. And I want to ask you, I'm going to ask you each. So, and it's not fair because there's two of you. So one of you is going to get to think on this a little bit more before you answer. But I'll put the question out to both of you together. It's not hard. It's just different level than what we've been talking about today. But end of the day, day's over. You finished everything you needed to do. How do you know it's been a successful day for you?
Oh, when my check.
Who are you going with first on that?
Well, you know what? I was going to pick one of you, and I'm like, nah, I'm going to let you guys do this on your own.
Amy
So
spoke
one of
first,
you's got
so.
the advantage.
I like a zero inbox. If my inbox is not at zero, I do not feel accomplished. Now, having said that, it's either at like 500,000 on my phone and zero on my computer. Neither one of them are ever at zero, but as long as I know that I've done that and my checklist is 95% complete, that's my goal at the end of the day. If that's done, then I can sit down and stop.
Okay, cool. I like that. Raj?
Mine's going to go a little more deep than that, and that's in part because I had the advantage of a little more thinking time, Amy. But a successful day is a day in which I feel that I have helped to make others better, and I come from that from a whole different perspective. I'm 34 years in this industry. I've got 4 or 5 more to go. Have I helped make my industry better? Have I helped make my team better? Have I helped make my clients better? Have I helped make my wife better? Have I helped my grandchildren? That's how you judge a successful day. And I don't think there's any person that doesn't feel better themselves if they've helped make others better. Is that too deep? Is that too? Wow.
No. I got to tell you, and obviously we can tell you had the unfair advantage there because you got.
I did.
Yeah, totally. So we got to give it up to Amy a little bit here.
My checklist is full of all those things, though, right?
what I like though is that neither of you brought up how much money was made.
Oh no.
And that the word help was actually part of those answers. And I say that because that is a question that I ask every guest we have on the show. I've done that more than 200 times, and nobody, and we get very fortunate to have, just like yourselves, some amazing people join us. Nobody ever used the word money, how much money I made. And I bring that up. And again, I know that for all my regular listeners, it's something you hear over and over again, but there's a reason for it. The point is that you don't measure yourself based on just, how much money that you made, but, measure it based on how you help people. And yeah, today's conversation was very much about raising money, as even more so about helping.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we go out and we do those things, So just always think about that, everybody. How can I go out there and help more people? You do that, and everything just seems to fall in line. Anyhow, great stuff there, guys. Any final words of wisdom that both of you want to share before we tune off?
No, I have no more words of wisdom, but I'm grateful for this opportunity, David. You're helping us do what we need to do, and thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you, David.
I thank you both very much once again. I encourage everybody, as we have this up there, I'll do this once again for everybody. The link here is www.realtorscareontario.ca/ride. We encourage you all, get involved, go over there, either register to ride, be a passenger, and/or raise some funds. We look forward to seeing you at each of the stops that we're going to be joining at, and that's going to be, again, later this month on September 27th and 28th. Beyond just the ride, we do want to encourage everybody, just in general, realtorscareontario.ca. Check it out. Go there to learn more, see how you can get involved, how you guys, we can all support each other and continue to raise the bar here in this industry. Roger, Amy, Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation, thank you very much for the time today and joining us on the MindShare podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are either listening to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms, or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. While you're there, be sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle. This is a 31-page ebook, including a free 90-day social media content calendar, all in place to help you build more mindshare so that you get more market share. A reminder as well that if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching, an in-person keynote talk for your upcoming event, and/or ongoing virtual training, just get in touch with me and my team. We'll set up a consultation call, learn more about what you're looking to achieve and how we will help you do just that. Again, for all inquiries, just get in touch with us today. Of course, I got to plug this. Make sure, please go over to ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. Big 5 stars, nice little review about how much you love the show. We'd be super grateful. Big thank you for that. Of course, connect with me on Facebook at MindShare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan101. Of course, I want to take a moment here to thank our sponsors today, Kits Keep in Touch Systems, REM Real Estate Magazine, and the ORCF, Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation. Thank you all for sponsoring this episode of the MindShare podcast. Be sure to visit my website, mindshare101.com, so that you can learn more about these powerful groups and what they can do to help you grow your business. This has been another episode of the MindShare podcast. Thank you for tuning in.